Hey everyone, I'm Ethan, I'm the CEO.
Hi, I'm Zach, I'm the president.
And we are Evolve Strategic Marketing. We put together this video because we know that a lot of local and small businesses need help expanding, increasing their profits, getting more traffic in the door, getting more service delivered. So we wanted to put together a video to help give you advice, help give you tips and recommendations on how we can do that and how we could be of some assistance to you accomplishing that.
Absolutely, yeah. We actually just wrote a blog that you can find in the description of this video regarding how to save time and money for small and local businesses.
Zach, now you mentioned something very interesting here, and I know it's a very big pain point for many people out there. Maybe not 100% of the people, but I can guarantee probably about 99% of people have this pain point. Whether you're big, you're small, you're a local business, but you mentioned two things here that really caught my attention. I know we wrote a blog about this, but I wanted to really delve into this a little bit more.
Sure.
Time and money.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big pain point, like I said, and how can we help people with those topics when they might not have a big budget, or maybe they do have a big budget, but you know, how do we do that?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, time and money is obviously a big consideration, especially for small and local businesses, because you might not always have the resources. You might not want to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning writing the next content piece that you need to put on your website. So the whole effort of this blog and even our company is to help people figure out quicker and cheaper ways to get very specific things done in their marketing. Actually, in this particular video and in this blog, we're going to talk about two subjects: listings and reviews, and how important they are for small businesses.
Okay, that's awesome. And you know, maybe you guys have read the blog, maybe you haven't. So we'll talk about this in more detail here. But you mentioned those two things here: listings and reviews. Now, not a lot of people, and maybe you will, know what a listing is in regards to digital marketing, and you know, what are those listings? So let's talk about that for a little bit right now. What exactly is a listing? How many are there? How do you get onto it? What happens when you're actually on a listing? Can people change that? So let's discuss that a little bit more here.
Absolutely. So in every city in the country, there are what we call business directories, and these business directories basically have your name, your phone number, your address, your website, and a small description about your company. So a lot of people don't know what these are, and most of them know only Google, Bing, Yahoo, and the major social media sites. But there are actually over 200 that can be used to list your business. Some of these are industry specific, some of them aren't. Most companies can be in anywhere from 75 to 100 local directories. So what the local directories do is they allow you to present your company to search engines. So every single search engine, doesn't matter if it's Google, Yahoo, Bing, any of the smaller ones, they're all going to do the same thing. They're going to go through these directories to find the most relevant company for whatever search term is typed in their browser. So it's extremely important to have listings as many places as possible. And you know, that's why we're covering this subject, because not only is it going to help your what we call local search engine optimization, it's also going to help your organic search engine optimization.
Very interesting. Let's take a couple examples here. So I want to take an example of a local business, and then maybe somebody who doesn't have a brick and mortar store, but they are a small business and they
Sure.
deliver a service.
Right.
So let's take a pizza shop, for instance. You know, you have a local pizza shop.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a city. You know, you're in a smaller city, maybe a medium-sized city, and you have a very specific radius on where you deliver or where you service or where people walk in your door to actually get some pizza from.
Absolutely.
So I'm a visitor, or I live in that city, or I'm visiting the city, and I wanna find a pizza shop near me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go onto Google, because you know that's what people do these days, and I'm gonna search pizza shop or pizza near me. Okay.
Yep.
What comes up after I search that, and how do listings affect that?
So what comes up is Google is going to put what they consider the top 3 most relevant findings based off of what you put in a search engine. Now, what's going to happen is every search engine, is going to go, okay, look, these keywords were typed in, so let me go through my algorithm. algorithm, and nobody really knows what that is, but we do know a couple of things. And one of those factors is it's going to go look through every local directory in the area, finding what is going to best describe what the person typed into their search engine. And if the more places that a company shows up on those directories and on the internet in general will help you become one of the top 3. Obviously it can and will, if you press one more button, list all of them locally for them to be found, but you want to get to the top. So being in as many of those directories as possible is extremely, extremely important, because the more you show up, the more that Google's going to realize that you're a legit company and you fit the description of what somebody's looking for.
That's incredible. That's awesome. So I'm going to do a Google search. I find a pizza. Your shop comes up.
Sure.
I find that. I get the information. I could then call you. I could visit the website and pretty much get directions.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And I find the local business based on my search. So the more directories, the more listings that pizza shop is on, the more likely it is that I find that
company,
that shop, that local business.
Absolutely.
That company.
Yeah, and it's extremely important for businesses to understand that you can do this easily. So a lot of people don't want to do this because putting your profile in 200 plus places seems like a lot of time and effort. So there are actually ways to make this easier for companies, and this is actually the subject of the blog that we just wrote. There are technologies out there that will do this for you. You set it up in a central profile, you put your business name, your phone number, your address, descriptions of your services, some of your products. If you're a pizza delivery, you can put in all the different types of pizzas, you can put in media. And what we do is that then gets taken and put to all these business directories without having you do them. And that saves companies time and money, because you could spend hours doing this, days doing this, if you had somebody doing, if you did it yourself or if you had one of your employees doing it. So the whole point of this is to save time and money.
That's a very interesting point, because we've spoken to many different local businesses, small businesses that actually brought up to us that they have gone on to Google My Business, they've gone on to Yelp, they've gone on to Bing, they've gone on to maybe 411.com, Chamber of Commerce, and they listed, they couldn't list more than 5, maybe 7 directories.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one for one, every single one of them mentioned to us that they had to go on to each one individually.
Yep.
And if their phone number changed, if their business hours changed, if their menu changed, if they're a restaurant, and they had to take time, and it took them actually hours and hours and hours.
Right.
And imagine if you're a local restaurant and you change your menu every season or every week or every month, and you have a new special. Imagine having to go onto every one of these directories and change that every single week or month or quarter or whatever you want to do. You're wasting that much money and time, because you have somebody doing that. You're paying that person to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's very interesting. You mentioned that this centralized profile, you put that in there one time and it pushes out to every single one of these directories. Now, imagine also, just one other point with that is that these companies that we spoke to, they only listed about 5 or 7, every single one of them. But
Correct.
Like you mentioned, there are over 200 listings for any local city, local business or anything, and you can be listed on up to that many depending on your industry. Mm-hmm. But imagine having to do that one for one for up to 200 listings. Imagine how much time that will take, and then having to do that every week if your menu changes, or if your hours change, or if you have a special or something that changes, and you have to go to every single one of them. You have to remember every single one of them.
Yep.
Now, get this also. Now, if you have one single difference from one listing to another, a space, a period, your address spells out street in one listing, or it's ST in a different listing.
Not the same listing.
Not the same listing.
It's not the same listing. So
and Google will penalize you for that, right?
Google will penalize you. I mean, all the search engines will penalize you. So the whole aspect of having a profile is it has to be the exact same information. So let's say you're a pizzeria, we'll just take that because we've been talking about it, and your address has street in it, okay? And you type STREET in your Google address, but on your Yahoo address you put ST. Good. It is not the same listing. So the algorithms that they put together for this are very, very, very specific, and they don't have a lot of room for discrepancies at all. There can't be. So another thing that people run into is they might set up 5 to 7 actual profiles, but almost all of them have small, differences in them. It could be, a double space between 2 words, and if it doesn't have a double space in all of them, it is not the same listing. So setting up a central profile actually makes it so that all the information is the same, because the same information is being pushed out everywhere. Also very, very important for whatever type of software you use for this.
Excellent. Now, also, there's the one other point on anybody can go into any one of these listings. A competitor of yours,
Yep.
a visitor who thinks that some information is wrong, and they can actually change your listing right then and there. And some of the more popular listings, such as Google My Business or Yelp or one of these other bigger companies, will check with the business owner if that information is correct.
Exactly.
But these nobodies, these listing directories that are you haven't heard of, many 99.999% of people haven't heard of. You can go onto those listings and change them completely. You can change a little number in the phone number, a number in the address, and they will change the listing because they don't require the business owner to actually approve that change. So that will also significantly affect your listing and thus your people finding you on these directories.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because business itself is such a massive industry, people will use that knowledge to mess up the SEO of a competitor. So it's something that people have to watch out for. And when you're looking for a software to do this for you, and there are quite a few out there, make sure that it continuously does a scan of all your listings to make sure if there's any discrepancies, it changes and fixes it back. If that happens, then you won't lose your what we call ranking in terms of search engine, and it's a very, very important point. Good point to bring up.
Yeah, great. So I'm going to bring up this other thing. So we mentioned the local business. So is this all the same application for a small business that doesn't actually have a brick and mortar, or maybe they do have a brick and mortar but they deliver a service rather than an actual product in their shop?
Sure. So it is actually just as important for a small business as it is for a brick and mortar local type business. So search engine optimization is based on a lot of different things, but one of the things that it really helps it is what's called a citation. And a citation is anything mentioned on the internet that has the business name and one other piece of business information. It could be the address, it could be the phone number, it could even be a picture. It doesn't really matter. If it has one other piece of business information about a company, it creates a citation. Citations are important for what's called organic search engine optimization. So when you have a lot of citations on the internet, you will move up the rankings. So a good service that allows these listings to happen will also generate citations. So not only will it help the local brick and mortar shop, but it will also help the small business that might not have a brick and mortar store, or even if it does have a brick and mortar store, it'll help both of them. So it's important in both cases.
Awesome. Great. Well, that's fantastic on the listings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the next thing we wanted to talk about were reviews.
Yes.
And the importance of getting reviews, answering reviews.
Yep.
Why does a local business, or why does even a small business that makes millions of dollars delivering a service require or have such a vital need to have reviews for their company?
Right. So, I'm sure, we both know this, but
yeah,
most of these people will know this too. Word of mouth is the most effective marketing that exists, period. When somebody recommends something to you that you trust, you're going to accept that. And what reviews are is word of mouth. So 93% of people who purchase will look at reviews before they make a decision. So having reviews is extremely important, and having a lot of reviews is also extremely important. And not only is it just for a brick and mortar or a online shopping cart, B2B businesses, 92% of B2B businesses will take a trusted review as a recommendation. So it is a very, very important factor for small businesses, local businesses to be getting reviews from as many people as they possibly can. Obviously, this brings into the fact that you at the same time have to have fantastic delivery so that your reviews are always good.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I'm sure you have complete understanding of this. I'm sure you watching this video have bought something on Amazon, have bought something on another online store, and the very first thing you do once you find a product that serves the purpose for the problem you're trying to solve or what you need and want, you go down and you look at the reviews. It's the very first thing, or maybe the second thing if it's not the very first thing.
Yeah.
I know I do it. I know everybody I've spoken to actually does that. So having reviews is very, very important, and having a volume of reviews is just as important as having good star reviews.
Correct.
You could have 1, 2, 3, 5-star reviews, and people will skip over your listing or your product or your service just from the sheer fact of not having enough reviews. So having a volume of reviews is just as important as having those 4 or 5-star reviews.
Absolutely, and this is actually a datum. So people don't believe a company that has 15 5-star reviews. They will actually take on a person that has 50 4.5-star reviews. They will believe that more than a company that has 15 5-star reviews. So what having just 5-star reviews shows is that a lot of people think it's fake because, look, when you're delivering a service to somebody, you cannot always please everybody that you have. But if you consistently give a good level of service and people consistently leave those reviews that are very high, 4 to 5 stars, and you have a lot of those, it shows that the company really believes and really wants to help service their clients. So it is a very, very important factor. So you always want to have as many reviews as possible. Always be over 4 to 5 stars. But if you're just sending out reviews to people that will give you 5 stars, that's also not the thing you want to do either.
Exactly. Now that brings up a very interesting point. When you do get a lower star review, maybe we are human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And especially when you have a business or a local business, you have an employee that maybe fumbles, or you have another employee that makes a mistake and it costs you some service. The second most important thing to having those volume of high star reviews is answering your reviews. Now, if you get a 1-star or a 2-star or even a 3-star review that comes in, it's important that you A, answer it, but B, you want to answer it in a way that shows every person that's going to see your reviews coming in the future, the inevitable future, from time now to, whenever in the future, that you actually took responsibility for your mistake. Yep. And that you handled it, and you do that through answering your reviews. Now, you want to answer not only those reviews, you want to answer the positive reviews as well, but it's very important to answer those. And I've always said, for the past several years, I've been saying, the way you answer a review, whether a positive or whether a negative, you don't answer that person that left the review. You answer everybody else that's going to see that review. So they go, oh wow, this guy actually, accepted fault. He accepted what he did. He changed it.
Yep.
Or he's doing great and he's in communication with his customers, and it shows that customer service level for you.
Absolutely, and actually the datum is 75% of people will return to you as a customer if you properly handle their negative review. So look, just because you got a negative review, 1, doesn't mean that they won't change their review, or 2, doesn't mean that they won't come back and give you business. So just be on top of it, because a negative review just means that something happened that was messed up in the company. If you handle it, people will see that and they're happier to understand that, okay, good, we know we're human, we messed up, we fixed it, please come back. And 75% of the people will come back.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to give an example of that just really fast. Many of you, if not all of you, probably heard of the company Zappos. It's this online shoe store. They've expanded their shoe store, but they've built their whole business model is built on customer service, and this reviews ties right into that. But I wanted to just make the point as one of the final things here is that their principle is that any shoe that you buy from them, the customer has a full year to return that shoe. And every time that maybe the sole comes off or the lace breaks or whatever is wrong with it, if they're not happy with their shoe within 1 year, they can call. They have an online support. They have a 24-hour support email service. They have an online customer service where you can call in, and their customer service is so superb, and because of that, they get fantastic reviews. So that is one of the most important things, is having a very good delivery, but also if there is this human error that comes up, you want to have this excellent customer service so you do get that 5-star review, even if you made a mistake and you handle that customer service issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funniest thing about this is when I talk to local or small businesses, one of the biggest things that I hear is, I don't have time to get reviews. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work to get reviews. And, that's actually not true, because when people are happy with the service, they're more than willing to leave an actual review. The actual statistic is 85% of people, if you send it to them, they'll be more than willing to leave a review. The problem is businesses don't send them the request for review. So, they don't have the system, they don't have the time, they don't have...
Or they just mention it.
Absolutely.
In person, and then the guy goes home and forgets about it.
Completely. So what we want to talk about in this is, good, how do we save you guys time and money? So there are software systems out there that will allow you to take, any of your database, and you can actually upload it into these systems. And when you do that, you can send them a text message, you can send them an email requesting a review, and it will take them directly to the review site. So it'll take you directly to Google, it'll take you directly to Facebook, whatever is necessary. And instead of having to do this, one by one, trying to figure it out, trying to remember everybody that came into your thing, you can just upload it in these types of systems, send them a request for review. Not everybody's going to answer, but you will find a vast majority of them will.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, great. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. This has been awesome. I hope the information has been very, very helpful to you. We strive to help businesses expand their revenue, expand their businesses, and we'd love to just provide very valuable information. So if there's something that you guys actually request that we do a video blog on or a blog on, please just let us know. We're happy to do anything that our customers, that our visitors, are needing assistance with. I'm Ethan, I'm the CEO. It's been a pleasure.
I'm Zach, I'm the president, and look forward for a couple more videos this week to also help you save time and money.
We are Evolve Strategic Marketing. Take care.